I'm making this video to record the status of this apartment on September 18th, which is when I sort of listed a set of grievances I've had since moving in, and they, at the front desk, they promised that they would address these issues. So I'm going to go over each of them, each of the ones that I named, in as much detail as I can, so that I can document what changes, what progress has been made in the next few days. Maybe as many as a few weeks. But my belief is that most of these problems will still be unaddressed in a matter of days. Firstly, this door is not sealed. You can see light coming through the doors. I find about 1 or 2 roaches will just come through this doorway every day. I've applied some caulk here to try and plug the hole myself. That, of course, has limited effect. At one point, I filed a maintenance request, and they plugged this hole with what seems to be some kind of insulation. It fell out after maybe 2 or 3 uses. There are many cracks along the floorboards, especially in this closeted area. Often you'll find live roaches just in the closet. Yep, there are 2 right now. Add those to the record, I suppose. Cracks along this floorboard all the way around. Yeah, there's not too much damage in this closet, I would say. There are cracks along this floorboard that I would like to be sealed. There are loose electrical sockets. They all just kind of wiggle, and I imagine that might be a fire hazard. This floorboard has an especially large gap that I believe is unaddressed. I may need to get closer. Apologies for all the mess, by the way. I had to move everything out of the bedroom on account of the flooded carpet, and I'm sleeping on this futon at this moment. More cracks. There's cracks right here. I used this. This is a pesticide roach gel that I have to partially to plug the crack and partially to kill the roaches that get in there. Other super loose boards and things. I've seen many roaches crawl in and out of this space. Lots of loose cracks around this area. This narrow avenue where I see many roaches. I suppose this one's on me, but I often find roaches here next to the microwave. This sink is not properly sealed. I frequently see roaches coming out from underneath these gaps in the handles. And I say all this not to sort of emphasize, oh, how gross, there are roaches. I get it. There's going to be roaches in a cheap Texas apartment. I say it because these are all places where they could live that I have drawn attention to that haven't been addressed. Cracks here and here. Cracks all along here. This is the sort of awning cabinet over the sink area. Many cracks along these areas. Notice I keep all of my food in either Ziploc sealed containers like this one, or in sealed jars like this one, or in airtight containers like this one. Moving on, more unsealed floorboards. It's just part of the issue, I suppose. Unsealed boards here, all along here. Or floorboard is the wrong word. Sort of floor lining, floor trim. That's the word. Outside, I can show you some hornet's nests, but I think I have that documented elsewhere. Behind this bookshelf, many unsealed boards. And I do admit, I was supposed to, list a set of sort of maintenance concerns that I had right at the moment I moved in, and I listed several. I didn't notice this problem, and honestly it wasn't my most primary problem because there were a handful of others. This is the new hot water unit. There's been a drill left here. I'm not sure when someone's coming to pick that up. This area is very dirty, though that's probably my responsibility to clean. Fair enough. But again, the boards here are highly water damaged, which I believe is a result of the flood, and are very loose. There's another roach right here. Just sort of living where it can. Moving on to the air conditioning unit. It was removed for inspection during the flood, and when it was put back on, it wasn't really put on properly, and so now there's this bulge in the wallboard that secures it. One, this is a crevice where roaches could live in, but also this air conditioning unit doesn't function anyway. You can turn it down, and the thermostat evidently works because it can tell when it's not, say, 70 degrees in here, but it doesn't produce cold air. I don't qualitatively notice a difference whenever the air conditioner is on, and it seems to spend quite a bit of electricity. I think that this air conditioner is due for an update, or repair, or replacement. Moving on to the bathroom. There's still a dehumidifier from the musty carpet we'll get to. There's another roach. Again, same story. Lots and lots of visibly gapped floorboards that really should be caulked over or sealed some other way. Over here it's pretty egregious. You can see the shadow it casts. Not so many cracks in the ceiling, fair enough. In this vent, I quite often see roaches coming in, and that's been true since the second day I lived here. More unsealed boards. I should draw attention, lots of water damage on the cabinets, and I'll make sure to show that in the kitchen as well. Huge crack right here. I've seen many roaches come out under the sink in this area. What else? Right here, this socket does not work. I guess I could demonstrate it. I have a blow dryer. This is a blow dryer. If I hook it up to this socket, it will activate. This is how I often dry my hair in the mornings. I can plug it in here. I can turn on the setting, and it produces electricity. But if I plug it into either socket here, the same blow dryer does not do anything. Let me try the other socket, just to be sure. There we go. Completely non-functional. May not be a fire hazard, may just be that there's only holes in the wall over there, but certainly it's dressed up like an electrical socket. It doesn't seem to be functioning like one. Oh, bathroom cabinet. Found many roaches here. It's actually pretty well sealed, to be fair. Not in the worst condition I've ever seen. Up above this area, I can't actually view it directly because I'm not tall enough, but I have a roach trap up here in the interest of capturing roaches, and I've seen many roaches crawl down from this area. I should bring attention to this. I've never understood why there's this big vent, but this seems to be the bathroom vent for capturing steam. I've seen a couple roaches crawl out of that big square crevice there. Alright. I should say, to everyone's credit, this bathroom is very well sealed, or rather I should say the shower is very well sealed. You can see, I might have to get a little closer. You can see that they've caulked this area quite extensively, and it's probably because there would otherwise be a lot of water damage along the walls. This shower's actually been really good. I would say this is my standard for the rest of the apartment. When I moved in, all of this was caulked along the tile, and I think really what I'm looking for is for this same level of maintenance to apply, literally inches away and not give habitat to the roaches in that area as well. Bringing attention to more gaps in the floorboards over here. Yeah. Moving on to the bedroom. So this is the area where the musty scent is strongest. Again, my understanding of biology tells me when you smell a scent like that, that means that there are living mosses, molds, or bacterias. Some kind of organism is producing this. Usually these organisms can survive quite well in the human respiratory system. That's a hazard to my health. And so I keep insisting that as long as I smell this mold, this is not a safe environment to be sleeping in, which is why I'm sleeping in the living room. And they say, well, they can clean up the moldy smell. I still believe there's a colony of something living in here that will take quite an extensive effort to get out. In this closet, I've actually not had too many issues. I suspect there are loose floorboards from back here, but I haven't actually seen them since I moved in. Yeah, this situation is probably pretty respectable, to be honest. Oh. Another vent where I have personally seen roaches escape from. Again, if there are roaches living in the ventilation system, I think that's a health hazard, not just to me, but everyone in this block. everyone in, this is building 5. I'm in unit 513. I should take note of the fact that there's visible water damage along this, what would be the line to this lamp. This water damage was not here until the flooding occurred. And one, I just want to note, this is a result of the hot water heater flooding, not of my washing machine, which was something they tried to blame on me not too long ago. But also, the fact that there's visible water damage literally alongside an electrical line, to me seems like it might be a fire hazard. And then, as I mentioned, I'll show you, there's heavily water damaged cabinets right here in the kitchen. Personally, I don't really believe that this is a problem at all. You know, this is just particle board, whatever. But it does, to me, indicate that this place has not been maintained very well. And also, I don't want to be charged for this damage in the future, because I can document it that it was here less than 45 days after I moved in. Or I guess right at 45 days after I moved in. I went over here to document a roach that I just saw crawl under the washing machine, but I didn't capture it. All right, I think that's the majority of my issues. I can open up various cabinets here in the kitchen. Here you'll see there are some pretty big gaps here in the cabinets. I've seen many roaches live in that area right there, sort of at the top of the view of the camera at this moment. I should say, these are roach traps. These are some of my personal efforts to address the problem because it's gone unaddressed by the complex for so long. I store my cookware in here, and I often find roaches living in my cookware. Just to set the record straight, I do very frequently clean my cookware, and currently my sort of cleaning regimen, can I reveal him again? Yeah, currently my cleaning regimen is that I wash all of these when I'm done cooking, of course, to sort of, there's another one, look at him. I wash all my dishes when I'm done eating so that I can put them away and hopefully minimally attract roaches. And then I spray down my own cookware with a pesticide called Spectricide Bug Stop Home Barrier. And I use that to prevent the bugs from wanting to approach my cookware, but of course it's really not sufficient. It can only be so strong. And then I rinse that pesticide back off before I use the dishes again. This cabinet occasionally has bugs in it, but it seems like at this moment it doesn't. More very big cracks that make for great roach crevices. Here's where I keep my, my towels. Very reliably, I'll just find, a dead roach in here. Oh, and a live roach as well. Hey! Living in this crevice. I don't know if I'm getting that captured very well. I'm not really looking at the camera. Yeah, you can see him, but he's a little bit camera shy. Right there. Oh, there may be multiple. No, I think it is just the one. All right. Documenting that there are roaches in there. Sometimes I'll find roaches in my spice cabinet, which I otherwise keep sealed. I keep my oils up here, and I should say to everyone's credit, never seen roaches up here, which is surprising to me because there's many cracks along this area as well. And just a huge wide open hole. I've never really known what's up here. But to me it seems like you could have many roaches in that. That doesn't seem like a standard or up to code situation. There's a roach that seems to have crawled out of my vent in the time that I was here. This is a light that I've documented in the past, but it has many roaches in it, and you can often see them crawling around. I believe all the ones that are in there are dead right now, but every couple of days I'll see more roaches. When I do see a roach, of course, I take the proper precautions to kill it and prevent it from reproducing so that the problem doesn't get worse. I would not want you to believe that I'm not doing my part to handle the situation appropriately. I think that's most of what I can draw attention to. I'll step outside and get the hornet problem documented as well. And I want to say again, I've tried making statements about all of these issues, but maintenance usually does not attend to any one issue that I voice within 2 weeks. And so voicing 10 or 20 major problems with the apartment seemed almost petty. It's clearly beyond the capacity that these people can handle. Because I believe have roughly 1,000 units that are all in terrible, terrible condition. This light is just open, which to me seems like a dangerous or at least unusual situation, but I've been reassured this is the design, to have open electronics directly overhead when you enter your home. All right, I'll step outside and document the hornet problem. So I should say, another way that I could get to this area is if I were to, what's the word? If I were to step through, I have kind of a patio door, a sliding glass door. One, that door is clearly in a fragile state and is easily damaged if I were to move it too often. But also, I don't believe it's very well sealed, and so I don't like to tamper with it because I think it just invites more bugs into my living space. So what I'm seeing here, first off, right outside of my bedroom window, you will see active, I actually don't know if they're hornets or wasps. I believe they're wasps because hornets have thicker bodies than that. Maybe a yellow jacket. I don't know enough about them. But this is directly outside of my bedroom window. This might be my neighbor's bedroom window, come to think of it. No wasps there, but I believe you can see a roach right there. And then sort of moving on to the actual deck area, which I promised to show. Hornet's nest there, though that one doesn't seem active. And then over here, there are 2 more hornet's nests. Should stop calling them hornets. Again, I don't know exactly what they are, but they're very much active. You can see a living individual right there. Here you can see the kind of unsealed porch scenario. Let me zoom out. And then of course, I feel like I'm harping on it at this point, but huge open gaps underneath the foundation, which show me that this place wasn't really properly set on top of the foundation so much as just unceremoniously dropped on top of it, which again means that there's a beautiful wide open crevice for roaches to make their nests. They love narrow, dark, damp spaces, which is why, again, I believe that the evident routine flooding of this environment is creating a home for the roaches. When they claim they can't address the roach problem, I really don't believe that, because pesticides aren't the only way to address an infestation. Really, the main thing you have to do is address the habitat that they have to live in, because as long as they can keep reproducing, no amount of pesticide will address the situation. That's the majority of the grievances I have right now. Oh, I mean, one other thing. Huge hole just in the trim of the front door. It's trashy if nothing else. I can't really pretend that that's a threat to my health, but I do think that's a problem. All right, I'm probably going to send this to Parkway Circle Management so that they have sort of a documentation of all the issues I'd like addressed. And I think if these issues aren't at least substantially mitigated in about 2 weeks, I'm going to continue making my grievances known. All right, thank you. This is Andrew Eastland, living in Parkway Circle, apartment 513. Thank you.